Today we are going to be talking about a very peculiar citrus tree. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today with a harvest video on our Fukushu Kumquat. So if you guys are following us along, you know that we have over 170 fruit trees here on this newly establishing desert farm, and one of those trees is our Fukushu Kumquat. First thing I gotta do is describe a little bit about where we're at, because you're gonna hear a little bit of ruckus next to me. That is our turkeys, and they are in our coop and run area, which is right here to my right, your left. So before we get to the harvest on this particular tree, we should talk a little bit about solar aspect and what we're doing here with these trees. Now, kumquats are a dwarfing tree. We have 4 varieties of kumquats. We're gonna be harvesting from this one today and showing you what that looks like. But kumquats typically have a very compact, more dwarf growth habit. One of the great parts about these trees is they can be kept in pots, but as you can see here, they're doing just fine in the ground as well. So now Arizona is known for citrus. We have citrus farms going back over 100 years. Citrus does amazing here in Arizona, and as with most citrus, these trees take full blazing sun without a problem. In fact, they need it, and we get a harvest here heading into winter, which is also a little bit unique for fruit trees. So let's go ahead and look at the Fukushu Kumquat that we're gonna be harvesting today. The Fukushu variety is actually a very large kumquat, and looking at this tree, I have several different sizes of kumquat and different shape. I'm gonna go ahead and pick a couple of these. You can see I have a couple of different fruit here. You can see the size difference just between these two from the same tree. And I always like to give reference so you can get an idea of how big these are. This is a standard golf ball. So you can see that fruit is actually larger than a golf ball. So good sized fruit. Probably about the same size as, say, a brown turkey fig, so decent size. And this one still close to it as far as the diameter of that golf ball is actually smaller and then just more narrow. Kumquats are eaten a little bit differently than you would typically do with citrus. Typically with citrus, you're pulling the rind back, eating the sweet fruit on the inside, or in the case of a lemon or a lime, it's a little sour. With kumquats, you actually eat the entire fruit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that here on camera. Sometimes these are not necessarily all that sweet, so we'll see how these two do. That's really good. Yeah. Oh, camera lady's asking for one? I guess I need a share. That actually tastes really, really good. If you've never had a kumquat before, the thought of biting into an orange basically seems very foreign. But once you bite into it, you see you have this very, very sweet skin. You still get that kind of zest, that really strong citrusy zest taste. So you get those oils from the skin. Then you bite into the flesh, which is a little more sour. Now we have 4 different varieties. This is one of the 4. We have a Miwa, we have a variegated centennial, and we have a Nagami. And all of them have a slightly different flavor, but all have kind of a real, I would say, lemony kind of punch, a real sour punch with the flesh on the inside. This one is very, very mellow. So I would say that you're closer to an unripe orange on the inside, and then of course you have the sweetness from the rind. Now I can already tell this larger one is kind of pithy. It fell off right into my hand when I actually took it off the tree. So let's go ahead and see if this tastes any different. Definitely not as much juice in this one. The skin, really kind of pithy, which is kind of what I was expecting. So not as juicy. In fact, one of the things that I've noticed even with the couple of fruits that we've harvested from this tree is they are not very juicy. And I think the reason for that is we cut back on the watering here in the fall, so it's not pushing as much water into the tree. That would be my first guess. Another thing that may be affecting that is this tree's only been in the ground for just under 2 years. So I think as it matures and grows, we'll probably see that these get a little juicier. Plus just the size of the tree. There's a lot of fruit on this tree. There's probably 2 to 3 dozen fruit on here, so my guess as well is just the size of the fruit and the tree itself. I think as this tree continues to mature, we'll probably see that these get a little juicier, but either way, still a really cool fruit and a nice balance of sweet and tart. So I think a lot of times folks ask us, you know, what can I grow in a pot? I don't have a lot of space. I think if you're here in Arizona or even in other climates where you can grow citrus in a pot, some type of kumquat tree is a fantastic choice if you're looking for citrus. I think the Fukushu is a good size, quality fruit. You get more on the sweet side as opposed to tart, which you'll find in some of the other varieties, and actually kind of a large fruit as far as kumquats are concerned. In fact, some of these I would imagine you can even take and use as, say, a lemon substitute in cooking. I don't think that would be an issue. Or of course, you could just eat them this way. Another thing you could use these for is a kumquat marmalade. That's very common. We haven't done that before ourselves, but it's another option as far as utilizing the fruit. And then of course the zest, you can use the zest on the outside of the skin, so that would be good in cooking as well, like any other citrus. Keeping one of these in a pot would be very easy to do. Bring it in during the wintertime if you're in super cold climates, but it is a beautiful evergreen. It's one of the reasons why we have this hedge that we've built in front of our chicken coop and run area. So just beautiful trees, easy to keep in pots if you needed to, and they are very, very productive. And I think if you were gonna choose one variety of kumquat, I think the Fukushu definitely has to be on that short list. Instead of trying to cover all of these today, we don't have ripe fruit on every tree. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and link the video here where we talked about the 4 varieties, giving an idea of the different types of fruit, what they taste like, and we did a taste testing in that video. Only thing I will tell you, it was one of our first videos. I'm just gonna apologize now. I can't remember how many times I said kumquat. I think it was 40 plus times, and it's kind of a funny word. So yeah, have fun with that one. So just wanna thank you guys for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you as a subscriber. We have over 170 fruit trees here on the farm, and we talk about them all the time. We'd love to see you here, and share the content. Definitely helps out the channel when you share it with like-minded folks anywhere around the world that would be into this kind of thing. We'd love to see that. Questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section down below. And our Amazon shop, that is a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you.
You okay?
Yeah. There's probably 2 to 3 dozen fruit on here. Do I have something on my face? Oh man. Besides the fly that won't leave me alone, the last thing we want is a bunch of turkeys with diarrhea. But they may have it now, I don't know.